Welcome back to a new webinar. This webinar will be about the MABA analysis or General Electric matrix. The MABA analysis is a portfolio analysis. Just as we know the BCG portfolio analysis, we know the MABA analysis. There is a big difference between the MABA analysis and the BCG matrix because the MABA analysis is more dimensional. It's a multi-factor model. So this means that we can use more criteria and more dimensions to plot our business units, strategical business units, or product market combinations, or even markets. Now, markets is a typical thing that we often plot in the MABA analysis. Why? To see our relative position in a certain market. How are we performing in this market? This is something that we can use, why we can use the MABA specifically. This analysis is an internal model, so you use it in your micro-analysis. If we see the steps again, step 1 to 6, the MABA analysis needs to be in your internal analysis because it's a model which decides, which shows you your competitive strength against that of the competition. So your position against the competition. So it was invented in the 1970s by the firm McKinsey. McKinsey, as you might know from my other videos, invented a lot of strategic models. And they did that as an assignment for General Electric. Now the funny thing is, we often mention it as the General Electric matrix, but it's not invented by General Electric, it was invented by McKinsey. So let's dive into the model. The model contains 9 cells. That's also why sometimes it's called the 9-cell matrix. We have 9 cells. And in the top left corner, this is the area if your business units, product market combinations or markets are in this corner, this means that it's really attractive. It's a really strong market and really interesting to be there. Now in the diagonal in the center, this contains markets that should have a hold strategy. So it's not certain which way the market will go. It's not really attractive, but it also is not definitely something to get out of. Now in the bottom right corner, we find the harvest or maybe even sell strategy. So in this corner, markets are not attractive anymore or not attractive, and you really should consider if you should stay in this market or not. Now please bear in mind, I told this also in the BCG matrix, a lot of times your business units are depending on each other. So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you are in the, for instance, bottom right corner, that means that you should get out of the market, because sometimes your business units or your product market combinations are complementary. So a more detailed view and a more detailed investigation needs to be done before you make investment decisions. Again, this is only a tool and it's not a goal on its own to make this model. Okay, so now as you know, my webinars always tell you how to use the model and how to implement the model. So first, let's have a look how you set up the model. First of all, you have 2 axes. The first axis is the market attractiveness axis. The second axis is, as I call it, the business attractiveness axis. Even though the model is named different, I always remember it by the MA as the market attractiveness and the BA as the business attractiveness axis. Now the market attractiveness axis is a really external axis. So for your market attractiveness axis, You can decide your own criteria. The same goes for your business attractiveness axis. The criteria are depending on your business case. They depend on your specific product, market, or your specific business which you are in. So, examples of criteria for your external factors or your market attractiveness axis could be size of the market, expected growth of the market, maybe competition, or opportunities and threats, which you probably have found in your MABA analysis, or, for instance, Porter's 5 forces. Barriers to enter or barriers to exit or the rivalry of competition are really good examples to use as criteria in your MABA analysis. Let's look at the business attractiveness factors or criteria. These are the more internal factors. Now, I use the term business attractiveness, but a lot of other people use the term, for instance, competitive advantage or competitive strength. Please bear in mind that you just think of your business against that of the competition. So, factors or criteria that you could use for your BA axis are relative market share, the growth of your share, how does it develop in the last few months or years, or image questions like brand awareness or your image as a brand or the image of your product in this business, or more strategy questions like your vision or your strategy or certain strengths or weaknesses that you have. A very good criterion always to use are financial sources or financial factors. How is your financial position? So, as we found these criteria, now we can make a table. Let's say that we have 5 markets in which we are in. The first thing to do is that you search for 5 criteria max, and this goes per axis. You put in your 5 criteria in a table. Now, the interesting part is that you decide how important these criteria are for your business case. You can add a weight. Now, it's really important that you make sure that these weights add up to 1 in total. So, you can, for instance, use a 0.2, a 0.1 or a 0.3 as long as everything adds up to 1. This makes you think really close how important each factor is for your business case. Now, every market will probably score on these criteria. So we also use scores. Now, the scores you can choose from 0 to 100 maximum per criterion. So, if a country scores really high on a certain criterion, then you do the weight times score, and this will give you a figure. You do this per criterion, and you do this per market you are in, or business unit or product market combination. So the weight times the score makes a certain figure on the end. You sum up all these figures, and this will give you a total, and this is your first coordinate for your first axis. You do exactly the same at your business analysis axis or business attractiveness axis. If you have this done with your MA and your BA, then you will see that you have a coordinate. Now, these coordinates make your circles, and your circles, now you can plot them in your 9-cell matrix. So now you can see that certain markets are really attractive, other markets are more or less a hold strategy, and other markets are definitely something where you should harvest or maybe even leave. So now you have an overview of these markets. Now there is one more thing to do. You also have probably a market share in this certain market. And the market share is something that you can draw by making a piece of a pie. Just see the circle as a big pie, and your own market share is a piece of this pie. Now, the size of the circle mentions the size of the market. So if it's a really big market in this where you are in, then the circle will be bigger than the other markets where you also have your business. Still, you have a market share. It doesn't matter what size of the market share is always a piece of the pie, so you can draw that in as well. Now, this is interesting to see as well, obviously. So, now you have plotted your MABA analysis. Now you have an overview of how your positions are in the market and if these markets are attractive. Resume. Why do we plot this MABA analysis? It's an analysis which you can use in your internal analysis to have an overview of your portfolio. It's more in-depth than the BCG matrix because it's more dimensional. It's a multi-factor model. It's used to make investment decisions, and something that you also could do is that you draw a small extra line or maybe an arrow and on the expected position the circle will go or the market will go. Since you are an expert, you probably can make this as well. Now, really important, after you have plotted this model and you make your conclusion, you should wonder by yourself, now what's the next step and why is my position like this in this market? How come that I am in a weak market, or how come that I have such a small market share, and what should I do to make it better? Now, this is obviously something for step 5 or 6 to solve, but you really could wonder how your position got like this. I thank you very much for watching this new webinar, and please also watch my other webinars. Webinars which are connected to this specific model are the BCG matrix, or for instance, 5 forces model of Michael Porter. I hope to see you in the next webinar. Please don't forget to subscribe to stay in touch and to stay informed about future models. Thank you. Bye.